The first words I heard at my own funeral were, "David wouldn't have wanted anyone crying today. He spent his whole life hiding the truth from us." I stood outside the back doors of the church wearing a baseball cap and a borrowed jacket, listening as my wife told over 200 people that I had been a selfish liar. Then she smiled, because she believed I was dead, except I wasn't. And everything that happened after that started 3 weeks earlier. My name is David Carter. I spent 36 years repairing commercial elevators across Tennessee. It wasn't glamorous work, but people trusted me. Every building I helped keep running reminded me that quiet work still mattered. At home, I believed my marriage worked the same way. My wife, Linda, and I had been married for 34 years. We had one daughter, Emily. Our house was almost paid off. Retirement was only 18 months away. I honestly believed the hardest years were behind us. Then one Tuesday morning, everything changed. Driving home from Nashville, a pickup truck lost control during heavy rain. I swerved. My truck rolled into a ditch. I survived with broken ribs, a concussion, and a collapsed lung. The state trooper found my wallet, but my phone had shattered. The ambulance carried me to a trauma center almost 90 miles away while my truck caught fire. Someone mistakenly believed the burned body inside belonged to me. That single mistake became the first domino. Because I was unconscious for almost 4 days, nobody corrected the mistake. The hospital couldn't immediately identify me because my fingerprints had been damaged and my records were delayed between counties. Meanwhile, Linda was told her husband had died. When I finally woke up, I reached for my phone. The nurse gently explained everything. "We've been trying to reach your family." I smiled. "They must be worried sick." She looked uncomfortable. "No one's answered. That didn't make sense. Linda always answered. Emily always called back. Still, I assumed there had been confusion." Then an insurance investigator entered my room. He asked a strange question, "Mr. Carter, do you want your family informed before we continue investigating your life insurance policy?" My stomach tightened. "What investigation?" He hesitated. "Your wife filed the claim less than 12 hours after your reported death." 12 hours, not 12 days, 12 hours. Something inside me shifted. Trust is like a glass floor. You don't notice you're standing on it until the first crack appears beneath your feet. The investigator explained something even stranger. Linda had already scheduled my funeral. She had contacted my pension office, cancelled my retirement paperwork, started transferring joint accounts. Everything was moving unbelievably fast. He wasn't accusing her of anything, but he admitted it was unusual. Because of the identification error, they asked me to remain officially deceased for another 48 hours while authorities corrected the records. That gave investigators time to observe what happened. I agreed, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted answers. During those 2 days, I watched my own family from a distance. Emily cried. She looked genuinely broken. But Linda, she looked busy, not heartbroken, busy. She laughed with neighbors. She made phone calls. She met privately with a realtor. Then investigators discovered something that explained everything. The house had quietly been listed for sale. 2 weeks before my accident. Only Linda had signed the paperwork. She had forged my signature. That discovery led investigators deeper. My retirement account had new beneficiaries. Not Emily. Not our grandchildren. A man named Kevin Lawson. I had never heard the name until they showed me photographs. Kevin wasn't a financial advisor. He wasn't a lawyer. He was Linda's boyfriend. They had been together almost 3 years. Neighbors thought he was her cousin because she introduced him that way whenever I worked out of town. Suddenly, every late shopping trip, every girls' weekend, every unexplained expense fit together like pieces of a puzzle I never wanted to solve. The funeral arrived. Authorities had already corrected my identity, but investigators asked me one final favor: wait until after the service begins. They wanted Linda to finish speaking. I agreed, standing outside those church doors. I listened. Linda called me controlling. She said I had hidden money from my family. She claimed I cared more about work than my wife. Then she looked at everyone and said, "Now I can finally live honestly." That sentence echoed through the sanctuary. The detective beside me nodded. "It's time." The church doors slowly opened. Every head turned. People gasped. Someone dropped a Bible. Emily screamed, "Dad!" Linda's face lost every bit of color. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. I simply walked down the center aisle. No shouting, no anger, just quiet footsteps. I stood beside my own casket. Then I turned toward Linda. "I didn't come here to embarrass you." I paused. "I came because the truth deserved to attend my funeral." The detective stepped forward. He quietly informed her she was under investigation for insurance fraud, forged financial documents, and false filings. Nobody applauded. Nobody celebrated. The room stayed silent, because betrayal doesn't create cheers, it creates silence. Months later, the insurance claim was denied. The forged house sale disappeared. Our daughter testified honestly she had known nothing. I made sure she never blamed herself. Linda left town shortly after the investigation began. I heard she started over somewhere in Arizona. I never looked. I sold the house, bought a small cabin near Chattanooga, started fishing again, volunteered at the local Veterans Center. For years I believed retirement meant slowing down. Instead, it became the first season of my life where I finally slept peacefully. Losing my marriage hurt, but losing the illusion hurt even more. Sometimes the greatest kindness life gives you is exposing a lie before it becomes your future. I attended my own funeral and heard the truth before anyone else did. So tell me, if you discovered someone's real feelings only after they thought you were gone, would you ever forgive them?